Welcome back to another instalment of New Zealand Bird of the Week, where in this video I will be talking about the fairy Prion, burrowing petrels that are the smallest of their group. I hope you enjoy. Fairy Prions are an abundant and familiar petrel of exposed coastal waters surrounding New Zealand, especially from the Cook Strait southwards. Fairy Prions are the smallest Prion species, coming in at lengths of 25 centimeters and weights of 120 grams, and are very similar in appearance to the 5 other Prion species that inhabit New Zealand. They are blue-grey and black above and white below, with blue bills and legs. This coloration and habit of flying along wave troughs therefore makes them hard to follow, with binoculars from a moving boat or on a pier. Fairy Prions are most similar to the much rarer Fulmar Prion, having less defined facial markings than other Prions, but also differing in that the bill of the latter is more massive than in the Fairy Prion, with Fulmar Prions also having a smaller gap between the nostril tube and the terminal nail. They often feed in large flocks over tide rips near offshore rocks and islands, feeding mainly on planktonic crustaceans and other small sea animals, like fish and squid, predominantly feeding at night from the water's surface. They are largely non-migratory, staying in New Zealand waters throughout the year, breeding colonially and preferring small islands to nest on. They excavate their own burrows, but they will also utilise caves and rock crevices, with the nest being situated in soil, hidden by vegetation and being dug out with the bill or feet. The breeding season is typically earlier in the north, with peak laying of their single egg being in mid-October at the Poor Knights Islands, and early November on the Sayers Islands. Incubation is shared by both parents, which typically remain together over many seasons, for around 44 to 54 days. The chick is left unattended during daylight when they are 1 to 5 days old, with parents visiting most nights to feed the chick, through regurgitation through to the fledging stage at 34 to 56 days old. Fairy Prions are however threatened by many things, mainly from introduced predators that have extirpated them from much of their mainland breeding areas, but are also threatened by abiotic events like severe storms, which in the past have killed thousands of related prions. Fairy Prions are in fact the most common bird found dead on New Zealand beaches, at an average rate of 0.56 birds per kilometre. With human-induced impacts, the intensity and frequency of these devastating events are likely to increase, and with it, the likelihood of many more of these birds being killed off. Despite this, populations continue to do well on offshore predator-free islands, with as many as 4 million pairs of fairy prions occurring in the New Zealand region. Few actions specifically targeting fairy prions have been undertaken, but what has been done includes the translocation of 240 nearly fully grown chicks from Stephens Island to Mana Island to establish a new population, and the installation of nest boxes and a predator-proof fence at a cliff-ledge colony on the Otago Peninsula. And with that, I thank you for watching this instalment of New Zealand Bird of the Week. For next time, you are now able to vote for the masked booby, large white seabirds that have a wide distribution across the world's oceans. And with that, I'll see you next time, whenever that may be.